My husband transferred money to someone else with the note payment for goods. Transfer 50万 each month to the recipient, Lin Xiaoman. There's no such person in the company. Their social media is filled with travel and luxury goods. There is also the latest ultrasound report. The baby is 7 months old. Dad said he wants to buy you the best baby room. I stared at that ultrasound scan for a long time. Then I dialed the tax hotline. My name is Su Wan, 35 years old, and I have been married for 10 years. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and her husband is the owner of a building materials company.
Wife, help me deliver the keys to the company and have the driver pick me up.
It was said that I had good luck until 3 days ago, when my husband went to another city to discuss a project. Before leaving, he left his car keys at home.
Wife, help me deliver it to the company and have the driver pick me up.
His voice was ordinary, so I took the key to the company. The company is located in Chendong Industrial Park, which is a 3-story small building. The first floor is the warehouse, the second floor is the office area, and the third floor is his private office. I handed the keys to driver Lao Zhang and went upstairs to water the flowers in his office. The office door is unlocked, and the computer is still open. In the financial system, Lin Xiaoman appeared. Who is Lin Xiaoman? I know all the suppliers in our company and have never heard of this name before. I clicked on the details and my hands began to tremble. 50,000,000 per month for 3 years. 3 years, 36 transactions, 18 million. I instinctively thought, could it be a normal business of the company? She is not on the supplier customer list. Open the contract file. There is no contract related to Lin Xiaoman. 18 million disappeared out of thin air. The receiving account is a personal bank card. I wrote down that name. Lin Xiaoman. Go home. Open your phone and search for Lin Xiaoman.
A WeChat signal jumped out. The profile picture is a profile photo, which shows that you are very young. My friend circle does not have permission to be set. I clicked in.
The beach in Maldives with the caption husband says, "This is the most suitable place for me." The Eiffel Tower in Paris with the caption birthday gift. Thank you, husband. Below each one, there are likes and comments from people. I scrolled down and saw the ultrasound chart. My baby is 7 months old, and my dad said he wants to buy you the best baby room. I stared at that for a long time. My daughter ran out of the room and said, "Mom, I'm hungry." I stood up and walked into the kitchen. I suddenly remembered that last week I wanted to buy a dress for 399 yuan. After hesitating for a long time, I didn't buy it. Zhou Jianguo said,
The expenses at home are high. Save a bit.
I can't bear to buy a dress for 399 yuan, 18 million. He gave it to a woman named Lin Xiaoman. 3 years, 50,000 per month.
Zhou Jianguo returned the next evening. He went in and changed his shoes as usual, hanging his coat in the foyer. Wife, what are you eating today?
Braised pork belly. You like it. He walked over and wanted to hug me. I dodged to the side for a moment. He paused for a moment and said, "What's wrong?" "It's nothing, there's oil on my hands."
He walked over and wanted to hug me. I dodged to the side for a moment. He paused for a moment and asked, "What's wrong?" "It's nothing, there's oil on my hands." "Dad, what gift did you bring me?"
No gifts. Let's do it next time. Dad is busy. I will definitely do it next time.
He said he's busy. He was busy transferring 50,000 yuan to Lin Xiaoman. Busy taking her to Maldives, Paris, and Tokyo. Busy buying a baby room for her child. Listening to him snoring, I thought to myself, this man, I have been with him for 10 years, and I have accompanied him through it. Only me, still waiting for a promise that will never come. The next morning, Zhou Jianguo went out again. He said the company has something to do. After seeing him off, I began to reminisce. I was 25 years old that year and worked as a clerk in a design company. Zhou Jianguo is 3 years older than me and has just started his business in building materials. When we got married, he didn't have a house. The wedding is also very simple. He said he would have money in the future to support me for a grand wedding. In the second year of marriage, when the company was just starting, Zhou Jianguo was running outside every day. I'm pregnant. I went for a prenatal checkup alone and bought a delivery bag. Go to the hospital alone to give birth. He rushed to the hospital, and the child had been born for 2 hours. He said he was sorry. I said it's okay. The company is important. That year, the company's revenue exceeded 1 million in my 3rd year of marriage. I quit my job. He said the company is busy and someone needs to take care of his family. My mom said, "Are you being silly? What will you live on in the future?" I said, "He said he'd take care of me." Mom let out a long sigh. In the 5th year of marriage, my mother-in-law suffered a cerebral infarction and was hospitalized. Zhou Jianguo said that the company's accounts are tight, and I advanced 80,000 yuan, but I haven't paid it back yet. That year, the company's revenue exceeded 10 million. In our 7th year of marriage, we changed houses. He said, "Write my name. The loan is easy to handle." I said, "It's okay to write your name. We're all family anyway." In my 10th year of marriage, I am 35 years old. I haven't bought a piece of clothing worth more than 500 yuan in 10 years. All the time and energy have been devoted to this home. He said that once the company stabilizes, everything will be fine. I waited for 10 years. The company stabilized, and I waited for Lin Xiaoman. I have thought about each thing over the past decade. Then I picked up my phone and started searching for information. Starting to search for information, I want to know how this 18 million was transferred from the company's account. I used Zhou Jianguo's ID number to find a financial friend. She helped me check the business information.
Zhou Jianguo Company has a registered capital of 5 million and holds 100% of the shares. The legal representative is him, and the financial manager is also him. This kind of private company is too easy to handle accounts. As long as he signs on it, the money can go out. Create a non-existent supplier, sign a fake contract, and the money will go out.
I said, "Is this considered illegal? I want to know."
She fell silent for a moment and said, "Calculate. Falsely issuing invoices, evading taxes. If it exceeds 10 million, it is a major tax violation case."
18 million, far beyond. I said, "Thank you." I hung up the phone and continued to check on Lin Xiaoman. I added her WeChat, but it didn't pass. But her circle of friends is public. I looked down one by one and took screenshots of each photo, discovered several details. Firstly, she lives in Binjiang Garden, a large flat. Secondly, she drives a Porsche with a local license plate. Thirdly, she often flaunts various luxury items such as Hermes bags, Cartier bracelets, and Van Cleef Arpels necklaces. But in a few photos, you can see a man's hand, wearing a black watch, Omega Seamaster, limited edition. That watch is a 30's birthday gift I gave to Zhou Jianguo. I saved 3 months of private money and spent 28,000. He said that this is the best gift he has ever received. Now, that hand is embracing another woman's waist. I will keep all this evidence. Then, I started to calculate the accounts. Conservatively estimated, Zhou Jianguo spent 25 million on Lin Xiaoman. I laugh at Zhou Jianguo for treating me like a fool. Laugh at yourself even more, being a fool for 10 years. But it's okay. Even fools have moments of clarity. I started investigating Lin Xiaoman. This matter must be carried out in secret, and Zhou Jianguo cannot discover any clues. So on the surface, I am just like usual, cooking, picking up, and dropping off children, and tidying up household chores. When Zhou Jianguo was on a business trip, I sent him WeChat as usual. Everything looks calm and peaceful, but in a place he couldn't see. I started my own plan. I found Lin Xiaoman's address, Building 16, Unit 3, Unit 2201, Binjiang Garden. The property management system shows that this house was purchased 3 years ago with full payment. Everything here smells like money. That is to say, Zhou Jianguo used the company's money to buy her this house, over 6 million yuan in total payment. I checked the vehicle information of the Porsche Cayenne again. Invoice amount 1.27 million. It's also full payment. What was the explanation given to me by Zhou Jianguo? The company's accounts are tight and funds cannot be turned over. The expenses at home are high. Save a bit. Once the company is stable, we will buy you a car. Originally, stable meant this. Once stable, you can buy a house and a car for the mistress. Once stable, we can openly maintain our outdoor living quarters. I will continue to investigate. Lin Xiaoman is 24 years old this year, from another province. She graduated from college with a major in hotel management. 3 years ago, there were no formal jobs in this city, but according to her social media, her quality of life has undergone a dramatic change since 3 years ago. From renting a small single room, from squeezing into buses and subways, to driving a Porsche. Now, she is a person from another world. From buying clothes on Taobao to buying luxury goods at counters. Now, she spends money like water and enjoys it to the fullest. Every consumption is a betrayal of me by Zhou Jianguo. 3 years. It happened to be the time when Zhou Jianguo started transferring money to her. I found a key piece of information in her circle of friends. 2 years ago, she posted a photo. The photo shows a postpartum center. The caption is, "Advanced investigation. Prepare for the baby." Someone commented below, "Meme is going to be a mother." That means she started planning to have children 2 years ago, and now she is 7 months pregnant. I calculated the time. If she had started preparing 2 years ago, she might have had a miscarriage or had been preparing for pregnancy for a long time. Zhou Jianguo is not just playing around, he is serious. He wants to have a child with Lin Xiaoman. Maybe it's my son. I think of Zhou Jianguo's mother, my mother-in-law. She has always despised me for having only one daughter. She has even booked a high-end confinement center. All of this is like knives piercing towards Suwan.
The truth was like a sharp blade piercing Suwan's heart. She suppressed her emotions and pretended to be warm.
During the meal, I pretended to casually ask, "How has the company been lately? Are the accounts still tight?" He paused his chopsticks and said,
Why did you suddenly ask this?
"It's nothing, just thinking about whether or not to change cars. I've been driving that car for 8 years, and it keeps breaking down."
Wait a little longer. The market is not good this year.
He continued to eat. I looked at his face and suddenly felt very unfamiliar. I have been with this man for 10 years. After dinner, Zhou Jianguo said he was a bit tired and wanted to go to bed early. I agreed. When he went to take a shower, he put his phone on the coffee table. I glanced at it. There was no lock screen. I hesitated for a second, then picked it up. WeChat. The first person to put it on top is me. The second person is an avatar, without any notes. I clicked him.
Honey, the baby kicked me today. It's so strong.
I stepped back and put my phone back in its original place. Zhou Jianguo came out of the bathroom and saw me sitting on the sofa. Lost in thought, I suddenly remembered 8 years ago. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I also sent a similar message to Zhou Jianguo. "Honey, the baby kicked me today." His response was, "Oh, I'm in a meeting. How will he reply to Lin Xiaoman now?" I don't want to know. This man now is not worth me giving anything more. I started collecting evidence, including transfer records, property, vehicles, and hundreds of screenshots from my social media accounts. But these are not enough. I need an undeniable hammer. The hammer that Zhou Jianguo cannot deny. So I did something. At 7 p.m. that afternoon, Zhou Jianguo had a meeting at the company. I drove to Binjiang Garden and parked my car on the roadside at the entrance of the residential area. At 下午4点30分, a white Porsche drove into the residential area. I remember the license plate number very clearly. The car was parked downstairs on the 16th floor. A young woman came down, wearing a loose white dress. My stomach is slightly bulging. It's Lin Xiaoman. I finally met that woman. She is younger and more beautiful than in the photo. When she walks, one hand supports her stomach and the other hand holds something. It seems that Zhou Jianguo was not by her side. I remember when I was pregnant, I also went for prenatal checkups alone. Buy things alone. Go home alone. Zhou Jianguo said he is busy. He is still busy now, busy earning money. It's just that this money is not for me. I just sat in the car, looking at that building. 22府, French window. You can see the river view. My house with Zhou Jianguo is also a 150 square meter large flat. But there is no river view. Zhou Jianguo said that Jiangjin houses are too expensive and unnecessary. It turns out that unnecessary was meant for me. Everything is necessary for Lin Xiaoman. I took a few photos. Community entrance, building 16, white Porsche came. Then I drove away and passed by a shopping mall on my way home. I stopped the car and walked in. I picked out a camel collared dress with a price tag of 1280. And without hesitation, I just swiped my card to buy it. When making the payment, the salesperson asked me, "Do you need packaging?" I changed into the dress and put the old clothes into the bag. I looked at myself in the mirror. It's been a long time since I last wore new clothes. I almost forgot what it looks like to wear new clothes. I am 35 years old. My skin is not as good as before. I have fine lines at the corners of my eyes. And my figure is not as good as before giving birth. But I am still me. I'm the final say. I don't need Zhou Jianguo to define how much money I am worth. From now on, I will take the final say myself. In the evening, Zhou Jianguo came back and saw that I was wearing a new dress.
Did you buy new clothes? How much is it?
Over 1,000, he frowned.
The expenses at home are high. You can save a bit.
I smiled and said, "I know." Then I went to the kitchen to cook. Zhou Jianguo sat on the sofa, looking at his phone, without saying anything else. During the meal, he suddenly asked me,
What's going on lately? I always feel like you're weird. It just feels like you've changed.
我抬头看着他，哪里变了？他说不上来。
I don't know. It's just different.
She doesn't know. Is he talking about me? He's telling Lin Xiaoman that I don't know about them. In the next few days, I will continue to collect evidence. I went to Zhou Jianguo company and used his name to retrieve the financial statements for 3 years. Xiao Wang, Mr. Zhou asked me to get some information and make a summary.
Okay, sister-in-law, I'll print it out for you.
A thick stack of 3-year reports. I carried it home and looked at it page by page. Although I am studying design, but over the years, I have self-taught some financial knowledge at home. Zhou Jianguo always says that I am useless, but in fact, I have been learning all along. It's just that he doesn't know. The problem on the report is obvious. There is a supplier called Wanti Trading under the business transaction account. Over the past 3 years, he has purchased nearly 20 million goods from here. But Wanti Trading doesn't exist at all. It's a shell company. Zhou Jianguo fabricated a supplier and transferred the money, which then flowed into Lin Xiaoman's account. This is how his methods are simple, rough, and easy to detect. As long as someone reports me, I organize all this evidence and store it on an encrypted USB drive. Then I started doing the next thing. I went to the bank and checked the balance of my joint account with Zhou Jianguo. 780000 yuan. It's much less than I imagined. Married for 10 years, our family should have tens of millions. But our joint account only has 780000. Where did the money go? The answer is obvious. It's all given to Lin Xiaoman. I spent everything I could afford on buying a house, a car, living expenses, and luxury goods, and I can't find the rest in his personal account. But I don't need to investigate. I just need to prove that he evaded taxes. The tax bureau will help me find out. This is my plan. I want to ruin his reputation. I won't mess around if I lose everything. It's too low level. I want him to know that deceiving me will come at a cost. A few days later, I went to the residential area where Lin Xiaoman lived. I walked into the community and said I was looking for friends, but the security guard didn't stop me. I took the elevator to the 22nd floor. At the entrance of 2201, there is a pair of men's slippers. It belongs to Zhou Jianguo. I recognize those slippers. He has been wearing them for 3 years. He takes it with him every business trip. Originally, business trip meant this.
Honey, can you eat here today?
No, I have a social gathering tonight.
You're always so busy, and the time you spend with me is getting less and less.
Just wait until the baby is born. I will spend more time with you.
Agreed.
When did I deceive you?
I stood outside the door and listened to this conversation. Zhou Jianguo is too good at speaking. He deceived me for 10 years, and now he is using the same words to deceive another woman. Perhaps Lin Xiaoman is also a fool. She thought Zhou Jianguo would abandon his original spouse and daughter for her and the child, but she didn't know. Women are just tools. Once used, they can be replaced. I turned around and walked towards the elevator. I don't need to confront Lin Xiaoman. Zhou Jianguo is the one, but I don't pity her either. She knew Zhou Jianguo had a wife and children, so she chose to be a mistress. I started making the final preparations. Firstly, I consulted with a lawyer. I have chosen a law firm that specializes in marriage litigation and has a good reputation. After listening, she asked me, I want a divorce. I want to get what I deserve, and I want him to pay the price. I handed her the USB drive. She plugged into the computer and looked page by page. After reading it, she looked up at me with a hint of surprise in her eyes.
Did you check all of this alone? It's very comprehensive. Transfer records, property information, vehicle information, screenshots of social media. Are you studying finance? How do you plan to deal with tax evasion?
She paused for a moment and asked me, Are you sure?
Do you know what this means? If confirmed, he may end up in jail.
I know. She looked at me and fell silent for a moment. Okay, this is your right.
But I suggest you don't report it for now, and wait until the divorce proceedings begin before speaking. First, file for divorce and demand the division of property.
Why?
Because if he goes to jail, his assets may be frozen and you may not be able to get what you want. If he doesn't cooperate or conceals the transfer of property, report it again. If the tax bureau finds out later, it can be submitted as evidence to the court.
Understood. Zhang Hua asked me when I was planning to file a lawsuit. Wait for me to make some more preparations. I want him to show his true colors. She looked at me as if she wanted to say something. But in the end, she just nodded.
Okay, feel free to contact me if you need anything.
Leaving the law firm, I stood on the street and took a deep breath. The sunshine is good and the sky is blue. I looked at the people coming and going on the street and suddenly felt much more relaxed. These 10 years, I have lived in Tumam. Zhou Jianguo asked me to save a bit. I'll save a bit. Zhou Jianguo asked me to take care of my family. And I take care of my family. Zhou Jianguo asked me to wait, so I waited. I have never lived for myself. From now on, it's different. I want to live to see for myself. The preparation work is still ongoing. I quietly transferred some valuable items to my mom's house. My daughter's birth certificate, household registration book, a copy of my ID card, and some jewelry. They are all small things that Zhou Jianguo wouldn't pay attention to at critical moments. These things may come in handy. I also did another thing. I went to see my mother-in-law. She lives in an old residential area in the north of the city. Zhou Jianguo gives her a monthly living allowance of 3,000 yuan. When I went, she was sunbathing downstairs. Mom, I'm here to see you. She looked up at me with no expression on her face.
Here you go. Come in and have a seat.
I went upstairs with her house is not big, but she keeps it very clean. There is a family portrait hanging in the living room. In the photo, Zhou Jianguo and I are laughing happily. My mother-in-law stood beside me with a smile on her face. It's been 10 years. Everything has changed. I said, Mom, I want to ask you something. Do you know someone named Lin Xiaoman? Her face changed just for a moment, but I can see very clearly.
In cognizance, who is it?
I smiled and said, it's nothing, just asking casually. She knows Lin Xiaoman. She may have known earlier. What is she worried about? Worried that I might discover the truth? Or are you worried that something might happen to her son? No matter what she worries about, it's already too late. The opportunity I was waiting for has arrived. On the weekend, Zhou Jianguo said he was going out to socialize. After he left, I opened his computer. I know the password. It's his birthday plus mine. He thought I didn't know the password for his computer. Wrong. I know everything. I just didn't say anything. I opened his email and found an email. It was sent by a real estate agent. Dear Mr. Zhou, the property located at No. 2201 22 and floor, Bingjiang Garden, which you have entrusted for sale, has an interested buyer. Why? I'll keep looking down. The email mentioned that the buyer offered 6.2 million yuan and Zhou Jianguo requested more than 6.5 million yuan. Still discussing. I remember the ultrasound scan in Lin Xiaoman's social circle. It's been 7 months. We're still 2 months away from giving birth. Isn't Zhou Jianguo going to buy the best baby room for his child? Why sell the house? I continued to search his email. Found the answer. A reminder letter from the bank. Dear Mr. Zhou Jianguo, your operating loan has been overdue for 30 days, with a total principal and interest of 3.87 million yuan. Please repay it as soon as possible. Zhou Jianguo owes the bank 3.87 million yuan, which is overdue. I flipped through it again and found that he owed more than just money to the bank. There are also several private loans totaling over 2 million. That is to say, Zhou Jianguo now owes nearly 6 million yuan in debt. The company has an annual turnover of tens of millions. How could it owe so much money? I thought for a moment and roughly understood. The economy has been poor in the past 2 years, and the building materials industry has also been sluggish. On the surface, Zhou Jianguo's company has decent revenue, but profits have definitely declined significantly, and the speed at which he spent money on Lin Xiaoman did not slow down. House, car, living expenses, luxury goods, 500,000 yuan per month, 18 million yuan over 3 years. So he started borrowing money. Borrowing money from the bank, borrowing money from friends, borrowing money from the public. But the hole is getting bigger and bigger. He can't feel it anymore. Now he wants to sell Lin Xiaoman's house and use the money to repay the debt. I suddenly felt quite ironic. When Zhou Jianguo bought a house for Lin Xiaoman, he must have made many promises.
This is your house. This is our home. This is my promise to you.
Now what? The promise turned into nonsense. The house was going to be sold to repay the debt. Lin Xiaoman has a big belly and is about to be kicked out. She certainly doesn't know about these. She is still showing affection in her social circle. She didn't know that her husband had already gone bankrupt. I took a screenshot of the email and saved it on a USB drive. Then I turned off the computer and waited for Zhou Jianguo to come back. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Zhou Jianguo returned. The alcohol smell is heavy and the complexion is very bad. What's wrong? Drinking so much.
It's nothing. Just a social gathering.
He sat on the sofa, rubbing his temples. I poured him a glass of water. He took it over and took a sip.
Wife, let me tell you something. The company has been facing some difficulties lately. With limited cash flow, I may need to sell something.
I said, "Oh, then it's up to you to make the decision. I don't understand the company's affairs, so you can make the decisions." He smiled and said, "My wife is still sensible. He always says I'm sensible. The meaning of being sensible is, don't ask too many questions, don't meddle. I don't really ask, nor do I care. But that doesn't mean I don't know. Paper cannot contain fire." That night, I made a decision that I couldn't wait any longer. Zhou Jianguo's funding chain is almost broken. He will definitely transfer the remaining assets. If I don't take action again, I may not get anything. The next morning, I called lawyer Zhang Hua. "Lawyer Zhang, I am preparing to file a lawsuit."
Okay, when is it convenient for you to come over? I'll wait for you.
In the afternoon, I went to the law firm and handed over all the evidence to Zhang Hua.
Okay, the materials are abundant.
"When can we file a case?"
I will help you submit the materials today and file a case as early as next week. When are you planning to report him for tax evasion? After the case is filed, she looked at me and nodded, saying, "That's good. Once we start, there's no turning back."
Leaving the law firm, I stood on the street, suddenly remembered 10 years ago when I married Zhou Jianguo. I thought I would be happy for a lifetime. I thought that as long as I put in effort, he would cherish it. I thought as long as I waited, good days would come. I was wrong. No one in this world will pay for your efforts. What you want, you can only get it yourself. Returning home, Zhou Jianguo is making a phone call. He hung up the phone when he saw me enter. During dinner at night, his phone rang. He glanced at it, and his face changed.
I'll go out and answer a phone call.
He walked onto the balcony with a low voice, but I still heard a few words.
Didn't you say to wait a few more days? The money will arrive. You asked her not to make a fuss.
Lin Xiaoman. It must be Lin Xiaoman. She may have known that the house was going to be sold and caused a commotion. I pretended not to hear and continued eating. Zhou Jianguo hung up the phone and returned to the dining table. His face looked. That night, Zhou Jianguo drank a lot of alcohol. He lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. Zhou Jianguo suddenly said,
Suwan, if I go bankrupt, will you leave me?
I was stunned for a moment. He has never asked me such a question before. I said, "How could you go bankrupt?" He said, "It's just a hypothesis." I looked at his face and suddenly felt ridiculous. "What is he worried about?" I said. "No." He smiled, as if relieved.
My wife is still good.
He turned over and quickly fell asleep. The snoring sound started. I opened my eyes and looked at the ceiling. "Zhou Jianguo, you're too early to rest assured. I won't leave you, but you will leave me. You will have nothing." A week later, the court filed a case. On the same day, I dialed yuan 2366.
Hello, 12366 tax hotline.
I want to report tax evasion.
Okay. May I ask which company you are reporting?
Jianguo Building Materials Co. Lati.
What is the content of the report?
I took a deep breath. Falsifying invoices, fabricating suppliers, transferring company funds, evading corporate income tax and personal income tax. The amount involved is approximately 20 million yuan.
Okay. Could you please provide relevant evidence?
Convenient. I can send you the materials.
Okay. Please provide us with your contact information, and we will have someone follow up.
At the moment I hung up the phone, my hands were trembling. Not afraid, but excited. 10 years have passed, and I have finally taken this step. Zhou Jianguo, when you transferred money to Xiaosan, you used payment as a note. Do you think this can deceive the world? The tax bureau will help you figure it out. 3 days later, the tax bureau contacted me and established a special task force.
So, the materials you provided are very detailed, and we will verify them as soon as possible. If confirmed, we will handle them according to law.
Thank you. I will cooperate with the investigation. After hanging up the phone, I stood by the window, Looking out at the city, the sun is about to set, and there is a burning cloud in the sky. I think good days are coming. On the day, Zhou Jianguo was called to the tax bureau for a conversation. I was cooking at home. He called, and his voice sounded a bit flustered.
Wife, I'll be back later today. The tax bureau has something to do.
What's the matter?
I don't know. It seems like an audit.
Oh, then you're busy, Zhou Jianguo. Do you know who reported you? It's the sensible wife by your side. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Zhou Jianguo returned. His complexion is very bad, worse than getting drunk. He sat on the sofa without saying a word. At 10 o'clock in the evening, Zhou Jianguo returned. His complexion is very bad, worse than getting drunk. He sat on the sofa without saying a word. I poured him a glass of water. He took it over without drinking. What happened? I asked.
The tax bureau has found some issues. Some parts of the company's accounts are not quite correct.
Is it serious? He looked at me with an expression in his eyes that I had never seen before. It's fear.
Very serious. You may end up in jail.
我没有说话，他忽然问我
Suwan, is that you?
What am I?
Eh? Did you report it?
I looked into his eyes and said word by word, Zhou Jianguo, why do you ask me that? He was stunned. I have been working in this family for 10 years, serving you, serving your mother, giving birth to your child, and saving you money. What am I looking for? He opened his mouth and couldn't speak. I have never cared about or been involved in the affairs of your company. When the tax bureau investigates you, ask yourself if you have ever done anything wrong. His face turned white. I'm tired. I'll go to sleep first. I turned around and walked into the bedroom, closing the door. Zhou Jianguo sat alone in the living room until midnight. I know what he's thinking. He was thinking, is it really me? But he couldn't be sure, because he has done too many heartless things. He doesn't know which one was discovered. The results of the tax inspection came faster than I had imagined. 2 weeks later, Zhou Jianguo was officially investigated, suspected of issuing false invoices and evading taxes with an amount exceeding 15 million yuan. This number is enough to imprison him for 10 years. After the news spread, the company went into chaos. Employees are anxious, and customers are canceling orders one after another. Suppliers come to collect accounts, and Zhou Jianguo is overwhelmed. He extinguishes fires everywhere every day. He doesn't even have time to doubt me anymore. I took this opportunity to accelerate the progress of the divorce proceedings. On the day of the court hearing, Zhou Jianguo did not hire a lawyer.
Our family matters are private. Why bother going to court?
Ms. Su requests to legally divide the joint property of the couple and recover the assets transferred by the defendant.
Defendant, what do you have to say?
Zhou Jianguo said the company is yours, so the stolen taxes are also yours, but our marital property belongs to both of us.
I have raised you for 10 years.
You raised me for 10 years. All right, let me ask you, how much is it worth for me to have children, take care of them, take care of your mother, and manage your personal relationships during these 10 years? You give Lin Xiaoman 50,000 yuan per month, 18 million yuan for 3 years. How much do you give me? I have to hesitate for a long time, even for a dress that costs 399 yuan. You told me you raised me for 10 years. Lawyer Zhang Hua submit.
This is a list of assets transferred by the defendant to the third party, Lin Xiaoman, including a property, a vehicle, and a cash transfer of 18 million yuan. These properties belong to the joint property of husband and wife, and the defendant has no right to unilaterally dispose of them.
In the face of evidence, all eyes are pale. The court's verdict came soon. Divorce is granted. The joint property of husband and wife shall be divided in accordance with the law. The property transferred by the defendant to a third party shall be deemed as malicious transfer, and half of it shall be returned to the plaintiff. The house was awarded to me because the custody of my daughter belongs to me. Zhou Jianguo's company account has been frozen, awaiting tax penalties and criminal prosecution. When I walked out of the court, the sun was shining brightly. The days after the divorce were more peaceful than I had imagined. My daughter lives with me, and Zhou Jianguo has to pay monthly child support. But I know he won't be able to pay for long. I don't have any particular feeling when I look at these messages. Not gloating or venting. I just feel like everything is over. Zhou Jianguo deceived me for 10 years and also deceived Lin Xiaoman for 3 years. Now he has nothing left. This is the price of deception. The punishment decision of the tax bureau has been made. The total amount of additional taxes and fines paid is over 8 million yuan. Zhou Jianguo simply couldn't afford to spend so much money. His company went bankrupt. His house was auctioned off. He owes money to the bank and private individuals, but still cannot repay it. It's sad that he now lives in his mother's house and dodges debts every day. Lin Xiaoman also left him. After the baby was born, she found that Zhou Jianguo had no money left, not even enough to pay for formula milk. She posted a dynamic on her moments. All men are scammers. Someone commented below, "What's wrong with men? Isn't your husband very wealthy?" She didn't reply. Quickly, that dynamic was deleted. One day, my mother-in-law came to see me. She stood at my doorstep with a very unpleasant expression on her face.
Suan, I have something to tell you.
I said, "Please come in." She entered the door and sat on the sofa. I poured her a glass of water. She didn't drink and asked me directly,
Did you report Jianguo?
"What do you think?" She stared at me for a long time.
Suan, I know Jianguo is sorry for you, but you don't have to be so extreme and let him go to jail.
I smiled. "Mom, do you know he's sorry for me? Why don't you tell me how he's sorry for me?" She paused for a moment. "He raised the mistress outside for 3 years, you know? He spent over 10 million yuan on that woman, you know? He also had a child with that woman, you know? You know these things you never told me. You are his mother, I understand. But why do you blame me now?" She opened her mouth, unable to say anything. I stood up and said, "Mom, I respect that you are an elder, but there are some things that we all know in our hearts. Zhou Jianguo has come this far, not because of me, but because of himself." I walked to the door and opened it. "Please go back. I will take my daughter to see you in the future. But there's nothing more to say between you and me." My mother-in-law stood up and glanced at me. There are many things in that gaze: hatred, resentment, and unwillingness. But she didn't say anything and turned around and walked away. At the moment, the door closed. I took a deep breath. It's been 10 years. I finally don't have to endure anymore. 6 months later, Zhou Jianguo's case was sentenced. The crime of tax evasion is punishable by 3 years imprisonment and 5 years probation. He shall bear the fines and any additional taxes paid by himself. He can't afford it. He can only continue to owe. I heard that he is currently working on a construction site, helping people move bricks. The boss, who used to have an annual turnover of 30 million yuan, can only earn 200 yuan a day now. I didn't go to see him. I didn't want to go see him either. He is him. I am me. Our fate has come to an end. After the divorce, I found a new job. A design company working as an interior design assistant. The salary is not high, but it is enough for me and my daughter to live. The house belongs to me without any loans. My daughter is by my side, healthy and happy. This is the life I want. One day, my daughter asked me,
Mom, where has Dad gone?
"Dad is working and very busy."
Does he not want us anymore?
"Baby, Dad will always be your dad. He just made some mistakes and needs to take responsibility for them himself." She nodded in confusion. "Anyway, Mom will always be with you."
Mom, I love you.
Mom loves you too. The sunshine outside the window shines in warmly. I think this is my new life.